Hallo, guten Tag. So today we're going to look at the GCSE German exam, and we're looking at the higher tier and the 90-word writing task. What does it take to get full marks in this part of the paper? We're going to look at the mark scheme, and then I'm going to show you a model answer. Let's get into it. So, question 1, which is the 90-word task. 10 marks available for content and 6 for quality of language, giving you a total of 16. But what does this mean exactly? Well, in terms of content, to get at least 7, you need to respond to all 4 bullet points and express 2 opinions using an expression such as meiner Meinung nach, in my opinion. Then quality of language, to get into that highest band, you must reference 3 time frames, for example, past, present, future. You need to use complex sentences. So, for example, ich lerne Mathe, weil es interessant ist. I learn maths because it's interesting. So, using subclauses, weil, because, obwohl, or though. A variety of vocabulary is also important, and you need to be ambitious to use these 3 time frames, complex sentences, and the variety of vocabulary. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the meaning needs to be clear. To summarise, answer all 4 bullet points. Doesn't have to be equal coverage, but you need to answer all 4. Include at least 2 opinions. Reference 3 time frames, so past, present, future. Use complex sentences. A variety of vocabulary. Let's have a look at the model answer. So let's have a look at the model answer. So along the top, just a reminder of what we need to include in our answer to get full marks. So answering 4 bullet points for content, giving 2 opinions, and making sure it's clear for language, 3 time frames, complex sentences, and a variety of vocabulary. So step 1, first thing to do, create a tick list of useful tenses, structures, key vocabulary. Tick this off as you're going or when you proofread your answer. Step 2, plan. So look at the bullet points, and this will help you to structure your answer so it's clear and you know you've answered all the bullet points. So I'm going to talk about how I was unhealthy in the past but healthy now, and compare this to my friend, so I get to use some different verb structures and verb tenses, and how you find smoking, so it's negative. If you're not sure about some of the wording in the bullet points, it doesn't have to be equal coverage, as long as you're, say, 1 sentence, that's enough, and go into more detail for the other bullet points. And you can use the wording in the bullet points and use that in your answer. Just change the du to ich. So, was du in letzter Zeit gemacht hast, fit zu sein, was ich in letzter Zeit gemacht habe. And you just then need something that goes with the verb machen, to do. So I'm going to talk about doing sport, and what I'm going to do in the future is to have a healthy diet. So you can tick off the bullet points as you go or at the end. First bullet point there, so I can tick that one off, talking about smoking. So second bullet point, tick that one off too. In letzter Zeit, so I'm using the wording from the bullet point, makes it nice and clear for the examiner as well. And then at the end, in der Zukunft, bullet point number 4. I know I've answered all 4 bullet points, and the bullet points help you with the tenses as well, because they sort of give you a direction. So normalerweise esse ich gesundes Essen, so I've used the present. Als ich jünger war, so I've used the imperfect, I've used the present, und das habe ich ungerecht gefunden, then used the perfect past tense as well. And then in der Zukunft werde ich, then using the future. And when I'm talking about what I did in the past with sport, and I've also thrown in a nice conditional. If I had more time, I would do sport every day. So I've used more time frames than I need to, but just trying to show off a nice range of language. Then the other key thing that I need to do is to do 2 opinions. So I've used das habe ich ungerecht gefunden, so I found that unjust, and ich glaube, so I believe that smoking is a waste of money. So I've used 2 opinion phrases, and that also nicely signposts it for the examiner as well. I've done my opinions, I've done my 3 time frames, and as you can see with the opinions, das, so it's a complex structure because it sends the verb to the end. It's these connectives which help you use complex structures. So deshalb, for that reason, or therefore, deswegen, another synonym for deshalb, wohingegen, whereas, obwohl, although, so in order to, fit zu bleiben, in order to stay fit. Use a range of connectives, so I'm putting complex sentences in very regularly into my writing. Durfte, so was allowed to, so I'm using modal verbs. A nice range of vocabulary is also one of the key parts of. So I've used some idioms in there. So leider bin ich eine Naschkatze, so unfortunately I have a sweet tooth, and ohne Fleiß kein Preis, so no pain no gain, and some less common vocabulary like widerstehen, to resist, Geldverschwendung, waste of money, gesundheitsschädlich, damaging to health. So a nice range of less common vocabulary in there as well. I've crossed off everything on my tick list. I've checked through my plan to make sure I've covered all the bullet points, and that's how you can make sure that you've given an answer that is going to get you full marks. So there's a link to this model answer in the description. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Auf Wiedersehen!